Recording in progress.
1 second. Mam vartmanu vartante manushya partha sarvashah. Translation: as all surrender unto me, I reward them accordingly. Everyone follows my path in all respects, O son of Pritha. Okay. So here Lord Krishna is giving instructions to Arjuna to remove all his doubt. Right. ये यथा मम प्रपद्यन्ते तम तथैव भजामि अहं मम वर्तमानुवर्तन्ते मनुष्या मम वर्तमानुवर्तन्ते मनुष्या पार्थ सर्वशः. So how one can become purified and go back home, back to Godhead? Here, Srila Prabhupada emphasizes that this second line of this verse is very important. Although every shloka is very important, but he's emphasizing that particularly the second line of this verse is very important. Mam vartmanu vartante manushya partha sarvashaha. All human beings are searching after me. So whether people realize it or not, everybody is searching, and what they are searching is for Lord Krishna. Now Krishna means Sachit Ananda Vigraha. It is stated in Brahma Samhita 5.1. The transcendental form of eternity, knowledge and blissfulness. In the Vedanta Sutra, this is summarized, which is the summarized philosophy of Vedic knowledge. It is said, Anandamayo Abhyasa. The spirit soul by nature is jubilant. So the Supreme Personality of Godhead, He is Supreme Living Being, whereas we Jivas are also living being, but we are not the Supreme. So there is a difference between Lord and us. But both of us are of the same quality. That means by quality we are both jubilant. Lord is supreme, whereas we are infinitesimal, part and parcel of the same Supreme Personality of Godhead. So in our present position, we, the spirit soul, being materially conditioned by material nature, coming in contact with this material nature, we have acquired a material body from material nature, which is illusory potency of the Lord. And this material body is made of material elements. And with this material body, we are experiencing the material world made of three gunas, modes of material nature, three modes of material nature. So, Srila Prabhupada gives various examples to illustrate this. So, under this condition, what we are experiencing is material but limited, although it is real but temporary. So, example is just like a man in his healthy condition, he is happy, but in his diseased condition, he is not happy. Similarly, we being part and parcel of the same Supreme Absolute Truth, who is completely spiritual. Lord is Supreme Spirit Soul and always eternally has his Supreme Spiritual Form, body, whereas we Jivatmas, we are eternally part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. And because we are infinitesimal in nature, that is, we are very tiny, and because of our nature, we are Tatashta Shakti, that is, we are marginal potency. So we have a tendency to come under the influence of either material energy or spiritual energy. That is possible. Whereas in case of Lord, he is always spiritual. His material energy he's a controller of material energy and spiritual energy. So he is always in the influence of spiritual energy, whereas he is never in the influence of material energy. Whereas we have this tendency to choose either material or spiritual. And in this material world, we have acquired a material body made of three gunas, and we are under that influence of those three gunas. So although our tendency is to be jubilant always, but after taking this material body, we, coming in contact with material nature, we are now morose. So sometimes, we are in duality. Sometimes we are happy, sometimes we are sad. So that is the nature. Whereas Lord is Sachidananda Vigraha. He is always in bliss. So in the Upanishads, the Vedas, it is said that Nitya Nityanam Chetanas Chetananam. in Katha Upanishad 2 to 13. So Lord is described as the God is the chief of all living beings. He is the chief of all the persons. He is the chief of all knowledge. So Srila Prabhupada gives an example, just like we can find out amongst human beings that one is more intelligent and more in knowledge. So we can see that, we can evaluate when we speak to someone, when we know someone, we can judge that. So in the same way, if we endeavor on the spiritual path, if we decide to take the spiritual path, practice spirituality, read scriptures, come under the instruction of Guru, then we can realize that God means the most intelligent, who is full of knowledge, full of opulence. So he's full in everything. He's not deficient in anything, but he's full in everything. There is nobody who is greater than or equal to him. He is the greatest. Now Krishna said in the last previous shloka, Mad Bhavam Agataha. Mad Bhava means my nature. So regarding Krishna's nature, one will find that Krishna is always enjoying with his flute and his associates, his eternal associates. He's always in bliss. He's always enjoying. And because we are also part and parcel of Krishna, we have got this propensity to take association of and dance with young girls or enjoy the association of young girls. That propensity. Srila Prabhupada says that propensity is not unnatural. It is natural and jubilation, but because it is in material contact, we cannot enjoy it fully. We cannot realize it fully. There are so many inebrities. So one can see that in all these temples, there is worship of Radha and Krishna in jubilation. So there, in every ISKCON temple, you will find deities of Radha and Krishna, and you will always find them in jubilation. So beautifully decorated, and they seem to be always happy and jubilant. So they are an association of the gopis playing the flute and many musical instruments and dancing. So there is a definition given in the Vedanta Sutra. Anandamayo abhyasat means by nature jubilant. There is no moroseness or unhappiness. That is the kingdom of God. That is spiritual kingdom of God. Now Krishna says in the first line, Ye yatha mam prapadyante. Krishna is manifested in three features, namely Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, Bhagavaniti Shabdyate. This is in Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, second chapter, 11th shloka, which means he is revealed as impersonal Brahman or as localized Paramatma, that is super soul, or as Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, which is Krishna himself. So accordingly, there are three different types of transcendentalists, practitioners, spiritual practitioners. They are called Jnanis, Yogis, and Bhaktas. Jnanis, the Jnanis means that those who are trying to understand the Supreme Absolute Truth in impersonal feature, in Brahma Jyoti. The Jnanis means those who are mental speculators, philosophers. They are trying to understand the Absolute Truth by dint of their limited knowledge. Yogis, where are yogis, the mystics, they are trying to find out the Supreme Personality of God within their heart. This is because the Lord is situated in everyone's heart as super soul, as localized Paramatma. In the Vedic literature, it is said that dhyana avastita tad gatena manasa pashyanti yam yoginaha. 12th canto, 13th chapter, first verse. Yogis, mystics, they are meditating and trying to find out the Supreme Personality of God or the super soul, Paramatma, within the heart. Bhaktas. So whereas the bhaktas or the devotees, they are directly contacting the Supreme Personality of God face to face. Just like Krishna appeared and the bhaktas met him face to face, not everyone could understand that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but the bhaktas could understand that is Vrindavana Leela pastimes. So this is in Vrindavan Leela pastimes, the devotees, they can realize, they can know that Krishna, because Krishna attracts them and he teaches them. So they can see Krishna face to face. So now Krishna manifests the Vrindavan Leela just to attract us and teach us how one can meet the Supreme Personality of God at face to face. Although one can understand Krishna in his impersonal Brahman feature, there is risk in treading that path. The Brahman feature is impersonal. So here Srila Prabhupada gives an example, just like there is sun, the sun globe, and within the sun globe, there is sun deity, and outside the sun globe, there is sunshine. But all of them are light and luminous. Now the fact that Within the sun globe there is light, and in the outside portion, the sun globe, there is light, and the sunshine is also light itself. But still there are differences. Srila Prabhupada gives an example of mountain where if one observes a mountain from a distant place, it will appear to be hazy or cloudy. And if it goes little near to the mountain, he can realize that it is greenish rock, rock which greenery. The subject of observation is the same, the mountain, but one is looking in different ways on account of different angle of vision. So this is just to illustrate the three different practitioners of spirituality. And if one goes further, he can see the greenery in the mountain. It is populated with different trees, animals, flora, fauna, humans, houses, etc. It is full of varieties. So similarly, the absolute truth, the object of vision, is one. But according to our angle of vision, sometimes we find it to be hazy, cloudy, sometimes as greenish mountain, sometimes when we are actually in that place, we can see the varieties of living entities, trees, etc. Similarly, those who are trying to understand the absolute truth by dint of their limited knowledge, they realize impersonal Brahman, which is like one angle, one limited angle of vision. Lord Krishna says in the third line, Mam Vartmanu Vartante Manushya. Everyone, all those who are actually seeking after God realization, they are following the same path. But on account of their different distance of vision, that is how far they are from that object, subject, distance, and because of the distance of vision, they are realizing the absolute truth in different ways. Again, this is to illustrate the three different practitioners of spirituality. But all of them, all three, are beyond this material world. Vita raga, bhaya krodha, man maya mam upashrita. So this was in the previous 4.10 shloka. Bhavo jnana tapasa bhutamad bhavam agataha. So this means, so here there are three things which are emphasized. There are many who are practicing of knowledge. They have acquired knowledge and they are practicing penance or tapasya, and they are being purified by this practice, by knowledge and tapasya. Mad bhavam, transcend, and what they acquire is transcendental love for Lord Krishna. But being free from attachment, fear, and anger, being fully absorbed in me, that is Krishna, and taking refuge in Krishna, many persons in the past became purified by knowledge of Krishna, and thus they all attained transcendental love for Lord Krishna. So this is what they achieve when somebody takes to spiritual path. So the process of going to the spiritual world is knowledge and austerities. This is there. That is for everyone, whether he is Jnani, Yogi, or Bhakta. But even going to the spiritual platform, there are differences according to angle of vision. So Srila Prabhupada emphasizes that risk of impersonal realization is there because in the impersonal feature, you cannot enjoy that blissfulness eternally. Therefore, the impersonalists, they come back again to this material world. Because if you are not content, and your real nature is to find contentment in jubilation, happiness in full, and if you don't find that contentment, then you will again start searching. And this is where impersonal practitioners, who if they go achieve Brahma Jyoti, they again come back to this material world to fulfill that complete lack of completeness, to acquire that completeness, and they search for material enjoyment in the material world. Srila Prabhupada says that just like an airplane, if you go higher and higher, but if you don't get the shelter, that is shelter in another planet, you will have to come back again to this planet, Earth planet. So unless one becomes elevated to the position of serving the Supreme Personality of God at face to face, simply by impersonal Brahman realization, one cannot become happy. Therefore, to experience enjoyment means varieties of enjoyment. One comes down again to the material world. So here, again, this is in reference to impersonal people who practice impersonal feature, impersonal realization. So there is a risk, and this is the risk. They come back to the material world to find that happiness. So Krishna has also emphasized, he emphasizes in 7.19, Lord Krishna says, Bahunam Janmanam Ante Jnanavan Mam Prapadyante. prapadyate. 7.19. After many births, the Gyanis, after speculative knowledge, when they actually come to the platform of knowledge, they surrender unto me, or they understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, Vasudeva Sarvamiti Sa Mahatma Sudurlabha, 7.19, next line to that. One who can understand Krishna, whose another name is Vasudeva, so he is everything, he is the origin of everything, and he sustains everything. Everything is situated in him. So one who can understand, he is supposed to be Mahatma, the liberated soul or the great soul. And Srila Prabhupada says that it is very difficult to find such a Mahatma. So the Krishna devotees who are engaged in these missionary activities, Krishna consciousness movement, they are not ordinary persons. They are Mahatma, but very rarely to be found. Sa Mahatma Sudurlabha. So although everyone is searching after Krishna, either in impersonal Brahman or localized Paramatma, the person who has understood Krishna, the Supreme Person, he is the greatest, or he is the successful man within this world. So Srila Prabhupada emphasizes that Krishna never says that by mental speculation or yogic mystic practice one can understand the Supreme Lord. He never says that. It is clearly said that Bhaktyamam Abhijanati Yavan Yash Chasmi Tatpata in 18.15 Bhagavad 18.55 of Bhagavad-gītā. Tatpata means in truth. To understand Krishna in truth, that requires bhakti or bhakti yoga, not the jnana yoga or karma yoga, hatha yoga or any other yoga. By practicing other yoga systems like jnana yoga or karma yoga, hatha yoga, one can understand Krishna partially, not fully. Full realization is Bhagwan realization, and this is what bhaktas or devotees of Krishna practice. So without bhakti yoga realization of absolute truth, the realization is partial. So Srila Prabhupada says that this Krishna conscious movement is teaching everyone to become the first class yogi. This movement is giving everyone the chance of chanting this Hare Krishna Mahamantra, which means always thinking of Krishna. So this chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra is all about chanting and hearing it. The chanting process is that you chant and hear, then immediately you become in the samadhi state, absorbed in Krishna. And this is not manufactured by us or human beings. This is all authorized by the Vedic scriptures. Therefore, to become a first-class yogi, to realize Krishna in full, according to the authorized statement of Vedas, then one has to take to this chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, especially in Kali Yuga, because other systems in this Kali Yuga becomes less effective. And this is the prescribed method for Kali Yuga. So in Bhagavad-gītā Sloka, it is said, Mahatmanas tu mam prartha devim prakritim ashrita. Those who are Mahatmas, actually after many lives of cultivation of knowledge, when one becomes fully cognizant of Krishna's position, he surrenders. Those who are Mahatma, they take to the shelter of the superior energy, the spiritual energy, the supreme energy, devim prakritim. Therefore we worship Lord Krishna, but not alone. We worship Lord Krishna with Radharani, with Srimati Radharani. Krishna is standing with Radharani. So there is full realization of the absolute truth. Without energy, simply energetic Krishna, there is not full realization. So all the Vaishnavas, they worship the Supreme Absolute Personality of God and absolute truth along with his energy. Whether it is all Vaishnava devotees worship, some worship Sita and Rama, some worship goddess Sita and Rama, some worship goddess of fortune, Lakshmi Narayana. Some similarly, we Gaudiya Vaishnavas, we worship Radha and Krishna. So in this way, the process of approaching the absolute truth is one straight line, but it is a matter of progress. But the aim is same, that is Lord Krishna. So all those who are on the transcendental line are actually aiming at Krishna. So this is how it is. Therefore, everyone's ultimate goal is Krishna. But we do not know that once we come into the influence of material energy, under the three modes of material nature, we don't realize it. And we need a guru. We need guru, a self-realized guru, and scriptures, prescribed, bona fide scriptures, bona fide guru. And under their instruction, we can realize that ultimate goal. Otherwise, we sometimes love the body, sometimes we love the mind, sometimes we love the soul, but the ultimate aim is to love Lord Krishna, and that is our natural instinct or our real nature. So in Chaitanya Charitamrita also, Srila Prabhupada says that Nitya Nisiddha Krishna Prema Sadhya Kabunaya Shravanadi Shuddha Chitte Karai Udaya. Madhya Leela 22.107. So the meaning is that our love for Krishna is eternal, and under the influence of material nature, trying to be jubilant, because we are infinitesimal and coming under the influence of this material energy, we try to find happiness to achieve that jubilant nature of ours. Sometimes we think that it is the body of other person, it is the mind, and sometimes we realize that it is the soul in the other person. And there are different methods of realization we take to there is Brahman Jyoti realization, which is impersonal realization, or localized Paramatma realization, trying to find realize the supreme personality of localized Paramatma who seated in our heart. And the bhaktas, they try to realize absolute truth in full, which is Bhagwan realization. So that is how it is. So we should avoid the risky path, which is impersonal realization, and we should take to Bhagwan realization or absolute truth realization by taking to Krishna consciousness, by taking shelter of a guru, by taking by reading scriptures or hearing Hari Katha and chanting Hare Krishna mantra and various other things which are part of Krishna consciousness. And some take to daily worship of Radha Krishna, Gaur-Nitai or Panchtattva, which are associates of Lord Krishna when he came to 500 years back, when he came to Navdeep Mayapur, and he tried to revived Krishna consciousness, and he distributed the mercy of Lord Krishna and the fame of Harinama to everyone, irrespective whether they are qualified or not, because this is the prescribed method of realization, Hare Krishna Mahamantra chanting, and this is a special mercy of Lord Krishna. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is nothing. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is none other than Sri Krishna in the mood and the form and complexion of Srimati Radharani, and he's not bothered. He's not considering whether somebody is qualified or not. He's just distributing his mercy to anybody who comes in contact of him, irrespective of whether he's qualified or not. So this makes it easy, and he wants that his name, his glorification of Krishna be in Kali Yuga, be executed, be practiced in every nook and corner, in every home, everywhere. And this is already taking effect with so many scriptures being translated into various languages, and people now are practicing all these what Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted. So we can also take benefit of this, and of course we should all take shelter of a guru, a bona fide guru, and under his instruction, hear katha, hear Hari Katha, Krishna Katha, and read scriptures and do everything what Guru says. Other methods or other practices of other things which a devotee is expected to, a disciple is expected to practice under the instruction of a guru. So thank you everyone. Thank you Prabhuji, Mataji. Thanks for joining. We'll meet again tomorrow to continue further reading of Bhagavad Gita. If anybody has any question, please let me know. Hare Krishna.